Hey guys, what's up? It's Lainey, and today I thought this would be maybe a fun video. I was thinking about how, it's January, it's the new year, all the months are ahead of us. January is also another special kind of month for me because January is when I started doing my monthly writing vlogs. If you've been around my channel for the past 3 years, January 2016 was when I started doing my monthly writing vlogs. I thought maybe it'd be fun to reflect back on newbie writer Lainey and kind of see how I have evolved with both my mindset, my writing, just kind of everything in general. I haven't watched this video since probably 2017. I tend to not watch some of my older stuff because it's just cringe. But I'm really proud of my writing vlogs. It's what pushed me to be a better writer. How I decided to start doing these monthly writing vlogs is because in 2016, I was a year and a half out of college. I graduated in 2014, and I realized how far writing got away from me. Writing has always been my extreme passion since about 14 years old. I used to write a lot on online forums and built a community through those forums. And then college, as college does, it just took up all my time. I wasn't able to write what I wanted to write. I also was very discouraged because of my creative writing classes that I took in college. I don't regret my English track. I've talked about that a little bit in my English major video that I did, but I loved the fact that I was an English major and not a creative writing teacher. I think I would have hated writing if I would have taken a creative writing route in college, just because the college I went to did not welcome genre fiction very much. I'm getting kind of off topic here, but at the end of 2015, I found myself so far from writing, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, you couldn't write what you wanted to write in college because you're too busy, trying to get your degree. But now you're a year and a half out of college and you're still not really writing. At this point, I did have one completed novel because I won NaNoWriMo in 2014, and then I finished that draft sometime in 2015. But by the end of 2015, I still didn't do real revision on it. If I don't make writing a priority, then it's never going to get done. So I started to do monthly writing vlogs because it held me accountable and let you guys see kind of my writing process and everything like that. Here we are 3 years later. I'm still doing writing vlogs, just not in the kind of same format, I guess, that I did when I first started them, because I did them monthly. Let's revisit that first writing vlog and let's just see what it's like. I'm expecting to cringe, and I thought maybe this could also be not really like a lesson or anything like that, but I had a lot of lofty goals in 2016. So I'm pretty sure from what I remember at this stage, I don't know if it was like January, February, March, I was getting research to start querying. I wasn't ready to query yet because I didn't query until spring of that year, summer. But I already know going in, this 2016 Lainey thinks that she's ready to query, and I just want to tell her, you are not. You are so not ready. I'll put it here. Let's get started. The old intro.
Hey guys, so this is the first entry into the writing vlog I'll be doing once a month, and today is January 6th, and I actually haven't written yet all year, which is
this is my old camera, so why am I so close to it?
Because I want to write more.
But it didn't really have that good of like a lens, so it always felt like it was like my whole face was always the entire frame.
I plan to finish editing my NaNoWriMo 2014 project.
I feel a little nostalgic because this is my old apartment that I had shared with 3 other girls. So I'm feeling a little like, oh, my old room. And I don't know if I'm speaking quietly because maybe a roommate was home. I tended to speak very softly when I had roommates, but
finding my mistakes. So for the Word doc, it's 163.
Okay, so I guess I never really talked about what project I was working on. So this was my first completed novel. I still have this first draft that's shown in the video. It's deep in this bin that's right by my desk, and I don't really feel like looking for it, but I still have the first draft because I'm proud of it. This was the first book I ever wrote. If you don't know what it was about, it was like a Little Red Riding Hood retelling, but taking place several years after her encounter with the wolf. So now she's like a wolf hunter, and the huntsman that, saved her and her grandma, his son is like her best friend. And I was pulling in a lot of different kind of fairy tales. I also pretty sure I was like super into Once Upon a Time when I was writing this. I was inspired a lot by that show. This isn't really a spoiler because no one will ever read it, but I kind of hid the fact that Cinderella is the queen, so her son kind of gets involved with the Lord Riding Hood. I do feel nostalgic for this part because towards the end, because I was planning to make this a series and I kind of had the idea of what I wanted to do for the second book. Towards the end, Jack from Jack and the Beanstalk, which isn't really a fairy tale, but I made it that anyway, he came and kind of helped the crew towards the end of the book, and it was set up that the villains for the next book was going to be Hansel and Gretel. That's what I was working on. It's called Through Villains and Wolves. But at this point, I don't think I was calling it that. I think I was calling it something else. But I don't think I ever showed it because back then I was like really stingy about revealing titles. But now I'm like, hey, Sharp Hollows, Pair of Prides, Crow Family, even though that's not really a title either. But you get the point.
Hey guys, so right now it's 11:30 and I do have to say I did not write today. However, I decided to read my own work, so that still counts. I decided to read the 20,000 words that I wrote for NaNoWriMo this year, 2015. I am glad that I'm reading it.
I can't get over this frame and how much my face takes up the entire frame. I'm just like cringing about it now.
What I was writing. However, now that it's been a couple months and now I'm reading it, I realized that it is pretty good.
Also, what day is it? January 6th?
Happy with how
I'm
wrote,
filming. I'm filming this January 5th.
Their point of views. So I think it is really fitting for each of the characters how I wrote, their voices. Tonight was the Golden Globes, so naturally I had to watch all of that. One of the difficult things that I'm going through right now is that I am unchemistrizing. That's a new word. 2 characters. I
do remember doing
was gonna pit him as a love interest in the beginning, but then after I wrote it, I decided I didn't want him to be a love interest anymore. That I just want them to be really good friends. So
I do this a lot in the books. I'm like on my 4th book that I've written. 2 of the books I've had this encounter before where in all 3 of my books. Yeah, I do this a lot where I plan out, this is who you're going to be with. I come up with the characters and I'm like, okay, these 2 are going to be together, these 2 are going to be together. And every book I've written, except for Cruel Family, because that's based mostly on romance, I've always had to change something about the relationships. In this book, the one that I wanted her to end up with, they didn't have the chemistry I was looking for, but she ended up having it with her best friend. So I'm like, okay, now I gotta revise this whole romantic arc. In Sharp Hollows, the same thing happened where it's these 2 were going to be together, and then she started having way too much chemistry with her enemy. So that came into an enemies with benefits type of relationship that I had to strengthen throughout all of the drafts that I did for that. And then in Pair of Prides, one of the ships has definitely remained the same, and that's my Raylo inspired relationship. But the other one, Micah, she was supposed to have a relationship with someone she kind of has a friends with benefits type of relationship with, but they did not have any chemistry. So she ended up having chemistry with 2 people, a boy and a girl. So then that was kind of revealed to me. I'm like, oh, Micah is totally bisexual. So then I had to fix that in my second draft because I cut that character completely out, and I'm like, okay, now I can play up the chemistry that she has with this girl as well as this guy that she meets later on. I really hope that doesn't happen with Cruel Family because Cruel Family is very specific in the relationships that are being formed here. Fingers crossed. All my books I've always had to drastically change a romantic relationship.
Changing everything now. I had to get rid of an 8-page scene of them 2 doing stuff because they can't do that anymore.
I will admit,
it's really difficult.
That scene, I remember it. And I really liked it. So it sucked to have to cut all those pages.
Make them to be more platonic, because now I know in the second book I'm going to have their friendship be very strong, and I want my main character, to be able to go to him when she needs to, and I think I do like that better, but it's just hard that now I have to take out all the sentences that imply a love interest and replace them with a friendship. I only have about 40 pages left to edit my manuscript. I'm so excited about this. It's I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm almost there and I'm so excited. I'm reaching the climax of my story, which is the most exciting part, because
I did like the final scenes, the action scenes, the climax, because action's my favorite genre. So I really structured all of those scenes towards the end of this book based on action movies.
Kind of came together and something clicked, and I knew exactly how I wanted to end the story. I'm really excited to read over those scenes again, and I'm very pumped. I'm
feeling a little nostalgic about
right now,
this book. It's which will
1:06
always
in the
be
morning,
shelved. It's always going to be
and I
trunked
just
because it's my first book, and I
finished
don't think
editing
that
the
it's
entire
good enough to be
book.
published
And that was
ever.
only round one of edits. But
But I feel like I want to kind of reread it
finished
now.
editing my rough draft. Like, it is more a novel than it was in the first draft.
I'm glad I
This was
hustled.
one of my
I'm
goals
surprised
in
I said I was going to
January,
finish edits in January, and I finished it halfway through
edits of my
January.
novel, and
I don't
it, and
do
I
that
wouldn't
anymore.
have been able to do it if I didn't make writing a priority.
Yeah,
I
that was like
think
my
maybe
theme of
this weekend I'm
2016
going
was
to try
making
to
writing
start
my
plotting
priority.
book 2, because I didn't allow myself to plot book 2 prior to doing my rewrites.
I don't know why. Why am I talking about this? I think I was just like so excited that I finished my first book, that I saw it as a series, and it's like the number one advice that you don't want to like continue on writing the second book if you don't have an agent, because what if you don't get an agent, or the agent can't sell the book, then you have like all these wasted words. I think I was just so excited about the story. I was so excited about the fairy tales I was incorporating in the book that I wanted to outline the second book. And I do remember the outline. I still have it somewhere. And you know, it would have been really cool, but in the end, it just like, it wasn't the right book. I've totally made peace with that. Like, when I look back at this, it's just like a fond memory, I guess. I don't know if that sounds bad, but it's just like, I can feel my excitement. I'm happy for my past self that I was so excited for finishing my first book, first revision on my first book. I'm happy. I'm happy for her, basically, even though, girl, you have no idea what's about to happen.
Sorry, I'm like literally laying down in my bed right now, but what happened was I kind of got a headache, but I want to finish this episode of Black Sails I'm watching, which is like my favorite TV show right now. I absolutely love it. It's like the rated R version of Pirates of the Caribbean. I really recommend it.
And look, I ended up writing a pirate book.
The end of the weekend that marked my completion of the first round of edits for my novel. I'm reading it over on my Kindle, and I reread the first few chapters.
The first chapter was pretty good. I'll admit.
Guys, I really love the first chapter.
It was a good first chapter.
I'm usually so quick to hate on my own writing and feel like I'm not good enough. But I'm really, really proud of this first chapter. Like, I feel like this is something I could see in any of the books on my bookshelf. Today was pretty successful writing-wise, because
little cringe there.
Today I did a shit ton of research on the current publishing industry.
Yeah.
Because while I'm familiar with
I think the most important thing you can do for this is...
And while I'm nowhere near ready to quarry for my manuscript,
also, like,
I actually just sent it
why was I calling it quarry?
Kayla
Like, I knew it was
Riley
query,
to
but in my
print
head
off
it just
some
kept
things,
coming
since
out
I
as
have no
quarry.
idea
I
how to write a quarry
don't know
letter.
what the fuck I was
I printed
doing.
off this,
But the most important thing you can do is
successful
research.
quarries. I found this on
Research.
the
Everything about the
Writer's
publishing
Digest
industry. That will help you
website,
with
and I'll link it
querying.
down below. They have a great abundance of writer resources, and what I found were successful quarries. I just was kind of looking at the YA
I even take a
ones,
drink every time I say
so
quarry.
I printed off Livia Blackburn's, who I've actually read her book that she quarried for, The Midnight Thief. It's her quarry.
I'm surprised no one in the comments called me out on how I pronounce this, because people love to point out when you're pronouncing shit wrong on the internet.
I think this will be my last entry for January. It's been like a week since my last update, which is cool. I did a lot. I accomplished so much writing-wise this month. I cannot believe it. What happened was I accidentally, and I say this, it is true, accidentally, I got an idea for like another
I remember
book
this.
that has nothing to do with what I'm currently
this is actually, I still talk about this project. I talk about it in my revising vlog, because it's like,
I have formed characters already, and I know
it's my cyberpunk story that like I still feel like I'm not smart enough to write, but I still have ideas. I forgot that's when I started thinking of it.
And I was getting ideas from like just the movies we were watching, which had nothing to do with science fiction. So right now I'm on Pinterest.
It's evolved a little bit since this initial idea, because my initial idea was Space Circus, but it's definitely not anywhere near that anymore. It's definitely fallen down more into like a delivery service, which seems so weird, but that is like my idea for my cyberpunk story.
Still, so that's one of the things that I will be showing on My February vlog for writing is definitely the synopsis for my Red Writing Hood
I forgot
story.
I did that. I think
Hopefully by then
I
I'll
remember
have a
doing
title.
that.
Since this is the last entry for January, I completed so many of my goals. I exceeded my goals,
Yeah,
and I
good for
wouldn't have been
you.
able to do that if I didn't put writing first. I know
Man,
I said that already in
I
this
have a
video.
whole bunch of stuff on my
but,
walls.
I mean,
I'm looking
it's
inside.
not gonna get
This
done
entire writing vlog has been in my bedroom.
unless you just do it. Thank you guys for watching my January writing vlog. That's it for me. See you guys next month. Bye.
Okay. Well, that was my first writing vlog. I'm happy I watched it. It's been a really long time since I've like watched kind of like the beginning of my writing journey, because that's what I consider the like the first real documentation of when I took writing super seriously. I'm glad I have that to always have. And all of my writing vlogs, I'm so glad I have all of them, because I like looking back. I like looking back on the ones that like are more recent. Like I'll watch my 2018 ones, not frequently, but when I'm feeling like really proud of like when I finished a draft, I'll go back and watch the one where I was finishing the first draft, or I was doing, you know, whatever. When I finished Sharp Hollows, I watched the first one when I was starting to rewrite it. It just makes me feel good. I like documentation. This channel was the best thing I could have done for my writing, and I know I wouldn't be where I'm at now if it wasn't for my channel, the community, the people I've met. All of that just like has made me such a stronger writer. Thank you guys for watching my first writing vlog with me. If you're new here, my name is Lainey, obviously, and I make videos on books and writing, heavily on writing vlogs. And if you like what you see, you should subscribe. So I hope you guys have a really great day. Thank you guys for joining in, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.